More details have been released on the arrest of former NFL quarterback Ryan Leaf. Good evening. Thanks for tuning into Montana's news station. KRTV has the evening off. Topping your news tonight, a month-long investigation spurred charges for Ryan Leaf. Now the Central Montana Task Force is looking for help from the public for more potential charges. According to Detective Sergeant Chris Hickman with the Great Falls Police Department, the Central Montana Drug Task Force started investigating Leaf more than a month ago. Hickman says Leaf had been receiving expensive packages from Florida once or twice a week for months. The addresses on the packages, he says, has possible connections to an illegal pharmacy. After performing a search of Leaf's home and car, authorities found 2 prescription pill bottles in a golf bag in Leaf's car. One of the bottles contained 28 oxycodone pills. The other was empty but had another person's name on it. After interviewing that person, the task force determined that Leaf had entered the home unlawfully and taken the pills. And Hickman says this looks like it isn't an isolated incident.
We are following up on some leads currently regarding some similar situations we believe that may have involved Mr. Leaf entering homes and taking possession of prescription medication. We believe this may have been going on for onwards of a year and a half.
Leaf faces 2 felony charges of possession of dangerous drugs and burglary and 1 misdemeanor theft charge. He posted bond on the charges last night, but Leaf is still on probation for drug charges out of Texas almost 3 years ago. The county attorney on the case told us if Leaf violated his probation, he could face up to 20 years in prison. If you have any information on the possible thefts, you're asked to contact Sergeant Hickman at 868-6698. Arrests have been made in what police believe to be a series of car thefts in Great Falls. Great Falls police were called to Verde Park for a report of suspicious activity just before 8 o'clock Friday morning. When police arrived, 4 juveniles scattered and 2 were taken into custody. 19-year-old Matthew Battle and a juvenile whose identity has not been released were arrested. Battle is charged with felony burglary, felony theft, 3 counts of misdemeanor trespass to vehicles in addition to other charges. Police believe the 2 were connected to as many as 8 thefts and break-ins in Great Falls. Battle remains in custody on a bond of more than $64,000. A Sims farmer burned more than he was hoping to this afternoon. Sims Fire Chief Ed Wheeler says a farmer was burning fields getting ready to plant crops. Wheeler says a fire barrier was plowed, but it didn't contain the blaze that went into a coulee. Fort Shaw assisted Sims, who had it out in roughly 10 minutes. Wheeler estimates nearly 10 acres unintentionally burned and no structures were threatened. A 40-acre fire near Ulm kept firefighters on scene for more than 20 hours overnight. The fire started yesterday around 3:30 in the afternoon. Cascade Fire Chief Kendall Kallenbach says the cause of the fire is still under investigation, but he says it looks like a controlled burn went out of control. Ulm and Cascade Fire Departments responded with the help from the DNRC engines and a helicopter. The fire was contained this afternoon, and at 3:30, crews were starting to mop up the area. No structures were damaged and no injuries were reported. A family of 8 have been displaced from their Helena home after it caught fire early this morning. West Valley Fire Chief Jerry Shepard says crews responded to the fire at 1:30 this morning. While the cause of the fire is still under investigation, Shepard says most of the damage is contained to the back kitchen and 1 bedroom. He says the house is not considered a total loss, but the family is staying in a hotel with the help from the Red Cross. Crews were on scene until about 6:30 this morning. And while we enjoyed the sunshine and warmer weather today, the rain has settled in. Andrea joins us now with a look at our first forecast. Andrea?
Jen, we just had all of those stories about the fire, and we have even more to tell you about. We have a red flag warning in effect. That's going to last from Sunday at 9 a.m. until Sunday at 9 p.m. That's due to a factor of the high winds, the high humidity, and the high temperatures. So fires will move faster throughout our area. We also have a winter storm warning in effect in the Rocky Mountain front. That'll last until 6 p.m. tomorrow morning. We'll give you details about that when we come back.
Despite Montanans' best efforts, 3 winning tickets for the Mega Millions record-breaking jackpot went to players in Maryland, Kansas, and Illinois. Ticket sales closed yesterday at 8 o'clock, and the winning tickets were drawn at 10 p.m. Earlier this week, a Great Falls group claimed a smaller jackpot of $250,000 after being just 1 number off. The group of 28 had been playing for about a year and said they also put in for the numbers for the record-breaking $640 million jackpot. In both Great Falls and Helena, players were lining up to purchase their tickets in hope of winning millions. Lottery officials in Maryland are urging the winner there to safeguard his or her own coveted ticket, making sure to sign the back. For the last few months, the state's unemployment rate has continued to drop. Montana is now at 6.2%, beating the national average by nearly a full percentage point. While oil activity in eastern Montana gets some credit, Labor Commissioner Keith Kelly says western Montana saw its own increase in jobs.
Too many stories about the wonderful activity in the Bakken Formation and the demand and the draw for people there. But even in western Montana, I think this is the first quarter that we've come around, the first month to see actually an uptick in jobs there as well.
Montana's unemployment rate has been declining since August. Kelly says an estimated 1,000 jobs were added to the state's economy in the last month alone. A Kalispell man is in bars after attempting to run over at least one person with his car outside a local bar Thursday night. This story tops our Montana Minute. Police were dispatched to Patty's Touchdown Lounge in search of 34-year-old Zachariah Dawson after reports of being involved in a two-vehicle accident. Dawson was seen fleeing the crash of the scene on foot, and a witness was able to lead officers to where he was hiding and was arrested. The two victims from the car accident were treated at KRMC and released, and the victim who Dawson tried to run over was able to jump out of the way, avoiding injury. Dawson was charged with 1 count of assault with a weapon, resisting arrest, and a DUI. The Lincoln Reagan dinner brought together the GOP in Billings, giving people a chance to meet and talk with candidates before the June primary and the November general election. Proceeds from selling tables for dinner, a raffle, and auction with several high-priced items are used as a party fundraiser. Bozeman residents got to pay 50 cents less on their gas this afternoon thanks to a new church. The Venture Church pastor says they couldn't afford free gas, but 50 cents still made a difference. They were able to help gas up 200 cars for about $900 and plan to do it again in the future. The state capitol went dark for 1 hour this evening as part of a global campaign known as Earth Hour. The Hour of Darkness is part of a campaign to raise awareness of sustainability and environmental issues. Governor Brian Schweitzer says everyone has to do their part to curb the climate change, and participating in Earth Hour shows our commitment to the cause. Last year, 1.8 billion people around the world participated in Earth Hour, and the lights went back on at 9:30 this evening. Some Great Falls area youth are getting an early start into a military career thanks to a congressionally sponsored event today. Senator John Tester hosted an informational meeting for junior high and high school students who are interested in joining a service academy or ROTC program. Every branch of military service was represented at today's event, as well as each of the state's 3 congressional offices. Both parents and students told us they found the event to be very informative.
This has been very informational and very helpful as far as getting the boys on the right track and get them thinking about setting their goals and keeping busy, just focusing.
It's kind of fun coming here because since I'm in middle school, it's fun to set your goals, and when you're ready to go take ROTC or academy or something in college.
To enroll in a service academy, students first need to get nominated by one of the state's 3 congressional delegates. While each delegate can nominate 10 students per academy per year, generally 1 student gets selected for each program. Joseph says he's preparing for the nomination process by volunteering at Eagle Mount, studying hard, and participating in after-school sports. Representative Denny Reberg and Senator Max Baucus will host similar events in Billings and Missoula at the end of April. An annual event in Great Falls is not only raising awareness about available health care services, it's also saving lives. Every year for the last 32 years, the Cascade County Extension Health Fair has gathered all of the county has to offer in health and wellness in one location. Some of the services include cancer screenings, bone density, and blood pressure exams. Last year, organizers say the fair saved the lives of 6 people who needed cancer follow-ups or were experiencing at-risk pregnancies.
We realize that preventative services save lives, and so if we can get you in for screenings or identify risk factors you might not be aware of, that's our optimal goal, is to be able to help you get your health in order.
Senior living facilities also offered on-the-spot interviews for housing, so fairgoers wouldn't need to wait for an appointment. There were also plenty of fun exhibits like fitness demonstrations, a children's corner, and a pet care information. One vendor says her booth aims to showcase the benefits of natural ingredients in a variety of products.
To be able to take from nature and not do anything to harm it in the processing, and then be able to get it into your body so that your cells can be fed and therefore your organs will function properly and you'll have all the nutritional needs that you need to stay healthy.
An estimated 500 to 600 people stopped by today's event to peruse the 78 booths. A final act of kindness from a former Helena resident will benefit the Chaudere Children's Hospital. The estate of Virginia Thompson gave $125,000 to the Montana Children's Foundation. Chaudere administration says it was Thompson's wish for the money to be used in the genetics department. A plaque will also be placed in the genetics department to honor her and her generosity. Thompson was elected to the Chaudere Board of Trustees in 1972, and she served until she passed away last September at the age of 90. An organization that's been part of Great Falls for more than 20 years is looking for support from the community to continue its legacy. The Great Falls Young People's Choir started in 1989. Now 30 students are involved in the organization, which provides musical entertainment during events around the community. The choir hosted a fundraiser today in an effort to help raise money for scholarships and the group's operating costs.
Music has its own inherent qualities that are going to help children, and music itself being an art, but in other ways it's going to help them. And the studies that have shown where children who participate in music are more apt to do better in school or more apt to succeed. And so in addition to learning the music itself, it's going to help them in other areas.
The choir's annual budget is about $16,000. Tonight's event serves as the group's largest fundraiser of the year. Smith says he's hoping to raise at least $2,500. Laughs, tears, and gas were shared by poet lovers today as they gathered to hear one of Montana's most recognized poets speak. Cheryl Noth, Montana's laureate poet, shared her latest poems with an audience at the Great Falls Public Library. Coming from a battered home, Noth says poetry was her source of escape. She read poems which came from personal experiences, such as the people she's met while riding on the Greyhound buses.
They're listening with their eyes shut, and they're laughing, and it was just such a pleasure. And, you know, poetry is about connection, and that's what we did.
This was just one stop of many for Noth throughout Montana the last few months. Students may still be on spring break, but that doesn't mean the learning process has stopped. At Exploration Works, 11 and 12-year-olds are learning video editing. The students got a chance to interview Carroll College professors on camera and gather B-roll as part of the documentary film class. For some of the students, it was a fun exposure to where they envision a potential career.
It was pretty good. It felt like I was kind of being a professional at it. And we got to see some pretty interesting stuff.
Interviewing and learning so much about video, interviewing people and stuff like that. And then it might help in my career someday if I ever choose to do this.
On April 3rd, everyone gets in free at Exploration Works as part of Free First Tuesday. So Andrea, we saw a lot of really nice weather today. I mean, it was changing back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, we did hit 70 degrees today, which is a record high. That's great for today. 70 degrees, but we did see those scattered showers come in. But we'll show you a nice picture from our viewer. This is from Holly Strong, one of our viewers. She sent a double rainbow shot. So that's the silver lining in our day today. It was a nice picture, 2 great rainbows in a shot, and pretty weather, and she captured it right in time. But that changed, and it's going to continue to change, so we're going to see some more scattered showers into tomorrow night. We'll give you more details when we come back.
Reporting you can trust.